Welcome, everybody. Hey, in this session, I'm going to teach you how to create the perfect business plan to make you one of the top 13% of real estate sales professionals in the industry. I think you guys know me. This is Todd Conklin, and I guess I want to say welcome to the 13% Club. We're going to go fast and furious. I don't know if you know this or not, but there is actually something to the whole 13%. Many of you probably do. What you might be asking is, well, what happened to the other 87%? So here's the story. In the real estate industry, 87% of the people, these are the people that had dreams, that had aspirations, that thought they were going to change their life, maybe their family's lives, went and got their real estate license, left the cushy job behind, left the insurance, left the regular schedules, all of those things for this idea that they were going to be able to accomplish something fantastic. And then they failed. 87% of them, they don't make it 3 years. And the reason we're here today and for the next 20 sessions is because we want to make sure that each and every one of you are part of the 13%. But I want to be perfectly honest with you, right? Being part of the 13% probably isn't it. If you look at the data suggests that the average real estate agent, so that's the 13% that made it, the average real estate agent makes about $50,000 a year. And I don't know about you, but I doubt that you decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to leave all of that behind and I'm going to build my entire future, my family's future, my dreams, all those aspirations on this $50,000. That's not how it works. So really, you probably got to be the top 5% or the top 3% or the top 1%. That's what we're going to do here to make sure that you're ready to be that person. Okay. So get ready. Like, I want you to feel some tension. I want you to feel some tension in your arms and in your core and your shoulders. Like, let's go. Okay. I'm going to try to not get super, super rah-rah with you because I know, well, this is a serious topic and it's not about rah-rah. I think what I find is oftentimes people get into the real estate industry and they get their license, they go through all the classes, it varies from state to state to state. But really overall, the bar is pretty low to get your license. And then of course, they don't really teach you how to sell real estate. What they teach you is how to write a contract. But until you actually have a property and a client, it's hard to really understand what writing a contract is. So you don't really learn much. I mean, you probably know what 43560 is, right? But you don't really learn much. You probably know what 640 stands for, but you really don't learn anything about sales. And what ends up happening is people, they fall for the stuff. And listen, it's not your fault. It's everybody. Like, we all did it, but it's not about the stuff. It's about the skills. And on your license, it says sales professional. Well, that's you. See, in order to succeed in this business, in order for you to be in that top 3%, top 5%, top 1%, even just the top 13%, you have to be a skilled sales professional. And that's what we're going to talk to you about for the next 20 sessions. I want to make sure, however, that I am super clear about the expectations and the framework for what we're going to be talking about over these next 20 sessions. I want you to come with the right mindset, the right heart set. I need you to come here really, really focused on being the absolute best you possibly can be. And again, I'm going to try not to be rah-rah, but you need to hear the passion in my heart, in my words, in my mind. You need to hear it because I really honestly do believe, I was talking to somebody just earlier today, this I believe I was made for. Like, this is my purpose. My calling is to be on this call right here, on this video right here with you, so that you can have a life-changing moment. Because if you've done, if you're doing less than 5 transactions a year, you are at exponentially higher risk of being one of the 87% than anybody else. I have had my life changed by this business. I am proof that it can happen. I have watched hundreds, if not thousands, of other sales professional, human beings, moms, dads, sons, daughters, kids, you name it, change everything in this business. But it's going to take a lot of work. And over the next 20 business days, we're going to focus on those skills. And you're going to have to do all of the work. See, just showing up to this isn't it. It's the work that you're going to put into this that will change everything. So what do I need from you? I need you to be right here. I need you to be focused on what's being taught. I need you to be listening. I need you to be writing it. They say, write it to retain it. I need you to be here. I need you to read it over and over and over. I need you to watch these videos over and over and over. This is not some rah-rah nonsense. We're going to teach you tactical how-to skills on how to do this, but you're going to have to write it. You're going to have to read it. You're going to have to watch it over and over again. You're going to have to role play this stuff, and you're probably going to have to teach it to some people, even if it's your kids, okay? You're going to have to teach it. That's how you're going to become a master at this. But showing up for these classes is not it. It's what action that you take, the habits that you will build as a result of these classes that will change you. Okay, so let's talk about you. Because if you were anything like me, you probably were at some point thinking, maybe I'm not the person for the job. Like maybe this isn't really what I signed up for. I have some really good news. If that's you, if that's not you, you can put the earplugs in and just ignore me for a minute. But I want you to hear me loud and clear. Around every single corner, I was not the man for the job. And I am proof that you can recreate yourself to be the man or woman for the job. But it's going to take some intention behind changing. A lot of people think that, hey, listen, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to become successful. And when I become successful, then I'm going to be the person for the job. But that's not how it works. That is not. It's the opposite. You first have to become the person, then you have the success, and people are like, oh, well, that's awesome. It takes intention. Nobody was ever the person for the job until they decided that they were going to change who they were to become the person for the job. And so what I've done is I've written down some things over here that I'm going to walk through with you. But listen, it's not an exhaustive list. It's just sort of a cursory list. You are going to have to identify, and you probably already know. Like you probably already know that it's your discipline, it's the way you show up. But it could be something big. Like maybe you're battling addiction, or maybe you're in a bad relationship. Like I don't really know, but you know. I don't need to know. I'm here to help you. But you already know the answer to the question. You are going to have to recreate yourself. And everybody thinks, yeah, I don't know. Listen, to recreate yourself is going to cost you something. You know what it's going to cost you? The old you. To become the new you is going to have to cost you the old you. You're going to have to actually say, you know what, I'm going to kill off that person so that I can build up this person. And some of you are not going to do that. And I get it. It's comfortable being who you are, but who you are is getting the outcomes that you currently have. So if you want a different outcome, I'm asking you to change yourself and become the man or woman that gets the outcomes that you want. All right, so let's go through the list. Number one, actually, these aren't numbered, but your look. How do you look? Do you look the right part? Is your hair right? Listen, if you're sporting a do from 1965, then and your clients are those kinds of clients, then you got the right do. But if you're not, that's not it. And listen, I know facial hair is a big thing right now, and if you look good in facial hair, rock on. But if you don't, it's time to shave it. But Todd, I like my beard. Great. It's up to you. There's no judgment from anybody. It's all you judging you that's going to make all the difference. But you're going to have to look differently. It may be your physical, like your shape, okay? But how you look, how you represent your brand, your professionalism, do you look like a sales pro? If you don't look like a sales pro, it's time to change that. How do you sound? Are you clear? Are you concise? Are you confident? Are the words you use appropriate for the setting? When you walk into a room, what kind of energy are you bringing? Any kind of an engagement? Like, are you are you operating at the right frequency? All of this stuff matters in sales. And now you might be thinking to yourself, Todd, I'm an introvert. Like, that's not who I am. I have some great news for you. I'm an introvert too. I'm just an extroverted introvert because I found out that being an introvert wasn't going to get me the dream that I had. So I thought, gosh, I better change that. I better figure out a way to be more extroverted. And I did. So I'm going to ask you to do the same thing. If you can't change the temperature of a room when you walk in it, then you're going to have to change, because you can be a person that changes the temperature of the room. Do you walk tall? Are your shoulders back? Like, do you have some bravado when you walk in that room? Do you have a big smile? I challenge you to walk in a place smiling from ear to ear and not have everybody go, oh, I want to talk to that person. Like that, you will notice that people will make more eye contact with you just because you're smiling. And I get it. Some of you are like, this is not me. You can change. That's the good news. You can literally change you. I think there's called the alter ego effect. That might be a book. Maybe that's what you have to do. Maybe you got to put on a shirt that just screams like, I am powerful. And that becomes your alter ego. But that is what you'll need to do in order to be a exceptional sales professional. Again, I'm just telling you what you're going to have to do to be the top. If you are one of those people who walks into a room looking around to see who the alpha is, then you're going to have to work on that, because the alpha should be you. It should be you. And alphas aren't the loudest. They're not the most outrageous. They're not the strongest and gruffest. Listen, oftentimes the strongest alpha around is somebody who's quiet and confident. And you know who they are. You can see them in a room, can't you? You're like, oh, there's something about that person. He or she's got a smile on her face. She doesn't feel like she has to use filler words. He's standing tall. He's the alpha in the room. The other is going to be, are you a person that can build familiarity and rapport and relationship quickly? A lot of people will walk into a room or walk into a setting and they're really awkward about that. The good news is that is a skill that can be developed. One of the greatest gifts that you can give yourself is to say, hey, listen, I'm going to build so much confidence that when I walk into a room, I am going to be smiling and shaking hands and let's go. I've never met a stranger. If you will assume the familiarity, you'll never have to worry about any of that stuff. I'm a real estate professional. I shake hands. I make eye contact. I've got a smile. I never met a stranger. That's the kind of thing that you want to be able to walk in. Like, these are all things you're going to have to change, but they're skills. That's the point. These are all skills that you can develop, but they're going to have to be yours. Now, investing in you is the quickest way for you to grow your skill set and grow who you are to become the man and woman for the job. Oftentimes, like, you're here, so that's a great start. So what else are you going to do? How are you going to continue to grow and invest in you? I think the saying is, if your entertainment budget is higher than your personal development budget, don't complain about the person that you're becoming. So invest in you. And the last one I'll give you is just urgency. It's just urgency. See, oftentimes what I see are people are like, I got time, but you don't really have time. Oh, I'll prepare later. I'll make those calls later. Or I'll do this thing later, but you really don't. But again, the failure rate is 87%. I don't want you to fail. I want you to win. So let's win, but let's do it now. You don't have time. Your family doesn't have time. Your community doesn't have time. Your customers don't have time. You don't have time. So with urgency, we are going to, and we're going to saddle that. Like, I want you to hug urgency. I want the emotion that's tied to urgency to be the driving force. Because ultimately what we have to do is we've got to help you better understand how to communicate and how to build relationships quickly, which is what I'm going to teach you right now. Okay. I'm going to give you 4 things. I want you to write these down. Again, you're going to have to watch this thing over and over and over. Repetition is going to be the key here. I want you to write this down. Like, listen, believe, and buy. In real estate, and in any industry, from a sales perspective, for that matter, People have to like you to listen to you. Listen to me. If they don't like you, they're not listening to you. If they will listen to you and you have something decent to say, they will believe you. And if they believe you, they'll buy from you. But if you miss one of those steps, you're done. See, that's building the rapport in a sales situation. That's becoming a sales pro. Oftentimes what I'll see is an agent, they'll walk in and they'll be like, okay, I got this. And you know, that person where, and maybe you've experienced this with another sales where you went in to go buy something and the salesperson, you know, they didn't ask you enough questions. They didn't build that rapport. They were a little too cocky or a little too passive or something just didn't connect. They weren't owning the energy of the space. They weren't making me feel powerful. They weren't making me feel better about myself. And they weren't putting me in a better mood, right? And they weren't really listening to me. And maybe they even cut you off, right? I see that happen with real estate. In real estate, we have got to ask as many questions as possible, because what you're really doing is you're asking the customer to get it all out so that you can take all of the pieces, because you're a puzzle master. You can take all of the pieces and you can put them back together. But the saying is that buyers are liars. It's not really what it sounds like. What it really is the customer comes to you and says, hey, listen, here's everything I think I want. Now help me. And you've got to let them get it all out. And if you will listen, what they're doing is they're giving you every piece of information you ever needed to find a solution and to close them. And that's sales. That's what this is all about. Okay. I've had a lot of agents, they like stop and they're like, oh, I know exactly where we're going. And then you find out that they didn't get the deal. Well, the reason they didn't get the deal is because they were wrong. They didn't listen, they didn't ask questions, and they didn't build a rapport. As a result, they never had the trust. When I took somebody out to look at property, I had developed such a strong relationship, such strong rapport with them, that they would literally think out loud. There was no filter. Just think out loud. And it was an incredible opportunity for me to hear exactly what it was they were feeling. I want you to hear what I just said. It was an incredible opportunity for me to hear exactly what it was they were feeling. That's the rapport that you must have with your customers in order for you to be a top 13% real estate sales professional, right? Okay, so I want to talk about math is the path. I mean, the path is the math. The path is the math. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to go through some basic math. You will get this in the link below, but here's where it all starts. Because if you want to build a great business, this is the only way you can do it. You have to literally treat it like a business. You got to go step by step through the numbers so that you know exactly what you have to do in order to have the outcomes. We're talking about the rapport building, but how many people do I have to connect with? So we're going to set up your production goals. There is a much longer version of a business plan, and it's a good one. And you should take the time to look at it and go through it, because we talk extensively about the fact that your business is actually not your business. It's your family's business. We talk extensively about the fact that your business is here to create a life worth living. You're not here to live a life so that you can work. That's not how it works. We talk extensively about the 4 foundations, and I'm gonna let you dig into those through the full business plan. But today, specifically, we're going to talk math, because math is everything, right? So let's do this. I lost my pen, so we're going to have to deal with my finger, right? I just want to show you what it would look like to better calculate what it is that you're going to make and what you're going to need to do in order to make it. So get out your calculators, be ready to do the math, okay? I'm going to make it easy on me, right? And I'm just going to say, hey, what would it look like if I did 10 transactions? Number of transactions. I'm going to do 10. Well, all right, my average sales price, let's say it's 500,000. Okay. So that means that my average commission is going to be what? 15,000. Okay. That's 3%. If I'm doing 10 of those, that's going to be $150,000. So I've got a $150,000 income, but wait a minute, there's expenses, there's taxes, there's all of these other things that go into operating your business. Remember, you are an entrepreneur, you're a micropreneur. This is the way this thing works. You have all of these other expenses, and yes, you've got to pay taxes. And because you are a entrepreneur, because you're an independent contractor, you're not having your taxes withheld. You've got to plan appropriately. So we teach a basic, split it into threes. So what is your take home? $50,000. Well, wait a minute. Maybe that's not what I signed up for. So then do the math differently. Double it. Make more. Do $300,000 of income. Make more. Bring home more. You have the choice. But if you don't know the data, if you don't know the numbers, then you're blindly going along. And this, again, is one of the reasons that 87% of the people fail. They don't know the numbers. So let's talk about the target number of transactions. Well, we said here it was 10, but let's just make it 20 because that wasn't enough. All right. So I want to do 20 transactions a year. And so, well, how many conversations do I need to have to do 20? Well, right now, the number is 50 conversations per transaction. So I'm going to put 50 right here. So do the math. How many conversations, how many working days per year? 220? Do the math. That's going to put you at, I think it's 5.2. Let's just make it 6 conversations every day that you're going to have have in order for you to achieve 20 transactions. Can you all make 6 calls and have 6 conversations each and every day? Well, of course you can. Here's the good news. If you wanted to double that, you could make 12. If you wanted to triple that number, well, then have 18 conversations. You can do that, right? Dig into the business plan, know your numbers, get with your managing director, get with your mentor, get with your coach. Hell, send it to myself. I want to see it. Do not let this session go by without you leaving with knowing specifically what your one sheet is. It's the pathway to you achieving what you need to achieve, which is becoming part of the 13%. This is the 13% club. This is the skill that you have to start with. Next session comes tomorrow. I can't wait to see you there. See you later.